the Big Bad Energy Podcast. I'm Lashan, aka the Designer Doll, here with my besties.
Hey bestie. Hi everyone. I'm Aminat, Dial DJ Delight. And
hi besties. Hi Barbie. Hi Dee. My name is Honey. I go by Honey Love on social media. And welcome to the Big Bad Energy Podcast. Did I say bad?
I was about to say, I saw your mouth say bad.
Bag.
Bag, we're in our bag.
We're in our bag.
Yeah, welcome guys. So today's show is focusing on
Mental health.
your speciality.
Her speciality.
Our speciality.
You're
actually, 'cause
both
I'm
your
first-
speciality, but I decided that I wanted to talk about this because there was an incident that happened last week, guys. So what had happened was I was at work, just a normal day at work, etc. And my phone rang. So I'm looking at my phone and it's a name that's familiar to me, but it's someone that I've known since for years. I've known this person since I was 15. But it's not one of those people that I've kept in contact with. The only reason she was on my phone is because I did promotion for her. So she started a small business and she was like, oh, honey, can you promote for me on your Snapchat? So I saw the number. I'm thinking, okay. You know when it's like an odd number and you're thinking, maybe it's something upon you, but your energy tells you, pick up that phone.
Yeah.
And it was a busy day, but something in my gut told me, answer that call. And
Like
usually
God's
I'm
spirit.
I'm very aligned with my intuition. So I was like, you know what? Pick it up. There's a reason. Something anyway. Whatever it is, I picked up the phone. So I picked up the phone and then there is a voice on the phone and it's obviously not the voice of the person. It's this young girl. She's like, hi, I won't say the name. I'm like, who's this? She goes, oh, my name is whatever. And then she just started rambling. I was like, huh? I was like, are you sure you got the right number? And then she goes, oh, this is my mum's number. You probably know my mum. I was like, okay. And then before I know it, the mum picks up the phone and she goes, oh my God, honey, I'm so sorry, sis. That was my daughter. And then I was like, oh, okay. She goes, oh, she's not feeling well. I was like, oh, what do you mean she's not feeling well? Are you okay, babes? Like, what's going on? And from when I said, are you okay? I've seen a lot, but one thing that always breaks me is hearing a mother cry. When you hear a broken mother cry, it just breaks you. She couldn't talk. She literally broke down and I was like, sis, are you okay? What's going on? She was like, my daughter's sick. She's going through some sort of a mental health episode and she's just been ringing everyone on my phone. Wow. And then I'm like, you know what? Is there something I can do for you? Do you want to talk? There's a reason, your daughter called me. Maybe you don't have an outlet, or somebody to talk to. And I was like, me, everything stays confidential, speak to me. And she was like, honey, I can't speak. She started bawling. And she was like, you know what? I'll call you back and I'm going to get myself together and then I'll give you a call back. And then she just hung up the phone.
It's the are you okay question.
Yeah. It was that, are you okay? And clearly she wasn't okay. And obviously I know with different cultures, you're Nigerian, you're Caribbean, British, I'm Somali. And all our communities deal with mental health completely different because of the culture. And I know exactly what she was going through because within my culture, as soon as mental health is brought up, is automatically... we're going to take you to the sheikh. Yeah, you're going to go to the Quran. You're going to get some spiritual healing and
It's ruqya,
and that's it. You don't need nothing else. And I didn't even get to cross those lines with her because she didn't call back. She didn't call back. But then I did speak about it on my social media because I know she follows me. So because I thought, you know what, speak about it on your social media. Maybe she'll feel comfortable and maybe you'll be able to help other people. And it was just the pressures of kids. The pressures kids are on altogether at this age anyway. Obviously, we've got social media. They're expected to look a certain way, make money at a very young age because of social media, wear the right clothes, get good grades in education. And as parents, I think that we forget that our job as parents is to love and care for your child, wherever they are, and not to put so much pressure on them. Because especially with my community is, they don't care. You better get those grades.
Same.
the neighbor, if the neighbor's getting A plus, it's best you believe you need to get A plus.
In fact, you need to be getting
better.
Yes.
You're compared to your siblings. Oh, she's clever.
Yeah.
Why aren't you clever?
Yeah,
Like
comparison constantly.
exactly, because you have to understand kids are completely different. Some are creative,
Yeah.
some are academic.
Yeah.
Know who your
Yeah.
child is.
Yeah.
And obviously push them in that direction separately. Like
Yeah.
don't compare both kids.
Yeah.
And it's just with like, I think like we have to protect and nurture our kids and give them hugs and just make sure that we're not pressuring them as parents, because they got enough pressures from the outside world as
world,
it is,
they do.
you know?
Do you know what? It's so crazy. I really believe in like the way that God just makes things all align. Because I know it's gonna sound so crazy to believe, but I literally had this conversation with someone the other day. I actually had this conversation
you have
twice.
these conversations
She has a lot of
every other day with
conversations,
somebody.
I do. I talk a lot. Because I have really deep, meaningful relationships. I don't have like, I've got loads of associates, but I have real deep connections with my real friends. Like, I was saying this, I'm like my besties. Like, I'm my best friend's best friend. Because the relationships I have are not surface. You know,
Okay.
deep dark secrets. That space that nobody goes in, I'm in there. You know, and they're in there for me. Like it's like that. So for me, I was having this conversation. So I was talking about this to my special bestie, my favorite bestie. Hi, bestie. Right,
Whoever you are.
if you hear it, you're gonna be like bestie. To my bestie, yeah. And I was saying about my youngest daughter, and I was telling him a story about how she was I was taking her from school, and she had these little cutouts of flowers, yeah, these little free cutouts, and they flew up into the air. You know, like I was like, oh my god, you know, like when you lose a balloon. It was, you know, there's been those windy days. So anyway, the flowers going up into the gate, and I couldn't reach it. She was screaming, hysterical, going on crazy in the playground.
your bestie?
My youngest daughter.
Okay.
No, I was just telling him about this story.
Okay.
So the flowers went up into the gate, and she's crying hysterically, and everyone's panicking like, oh my god, what's wrong with her? She's just crying because these flowers that she's cut out have flew all around the playground. Anyway, one of the school teachers comes and he picks up the flowers for her. She calms down. She's still crying to the always with him, but she was happy because she got her flowers. But I was saying to him, like, those flowers are everything to her. You see, when you're 6, you're 5, you're 4, that little drawing you made that someone scribbles on it, it's like your life is falling apart. Like the way that they take it, like it's everything to her, these flowers. Like to me, it's just another piece of paper. It's, you know, more pictures I have to stick up on my wall. But it means something to her. Equally for the teenagers, for whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
You know, and my youngest son, he's going to hate me for this, but not my youngest son, my middle son, he's admitted to me that he's tried to smoke.
He's tried to
He's
smoke.
smoking. Yeah?
Okay.
He's smoking. I should say like that.
Just
yeah,
get it out there, accept it, mommy.
Right? Yeah, it's so hard to say. And I was so upset about it. But when I said, why? Like, what's going on? And him and his friend told me, they were like, we're stressed out. He's like, we're stressed. My son said something that broke my heart. He said, nothing ever goes right for me. I was
They all say that. My
You're
son says the
15.
same thing. My son says
how
the
can
same
you say
thing.
that at 15 years old?
I don't know where the
How-
pressure's coming
Where's
from.
it coming from?
Pressure
But
is
it's
everywhere,
there,
babes.
yeah.
It's everywhere. Social
And
media alone.
You know
is
what?
pressure.
Yeah, I had to hug him.
Yeah.
And I was like, son, I don't want you to ever feel like that. Especially you're so young. Like the pressures for these young people is so unfair. You know, like when we were younger, it was pressure, but not like to the extent of these young people. You know, but it really, really hurt to hear him say that, and his friend as well. And they both were equally like they looked like they were like 35-year-old men. You know, like going through real hard
They're
life.
aged.
Just the way their vibe was, their energy was. I was really, really sad about it.
But it's weird you should say that, because like obviously I work with a lot of young people, and all the young, well, I would say about 70% of the young people that I work with are currently going through depression. They can't tell you the root, because with depression you sometimes can't see it, and even the person experiencing it is unaware that that's what they're going through. And I know the government is really pushing for support in terms of mental health associations and all of this drive towards how can we make life easier, what can we do to support people, young people, adults, whoever are going through mental health. So there's a lot of mental health programs. That's why there's a lot of mental health practitioners, I myself, and because the government recognize that depression is rampant amongst adult, let alone young people, but young people are experiencing it more, and it's more difficult for them. And it's literally every other child is dealing with mental health
But the
issues,
thing is,
and they're lashing out.
Can we just make a disclaimer? I just want to say this. to clarify the difference between depression and just having like being sad and low mood. So you see, like sometimes you're having a bad day, you're in a low mood. Depression kind of when you kind of gets categorized as depression is when it's going on for a long period.
Yeah.
When you can't get
Long
out of
period
that
of time.
feeling.
Yeah.
Don't just think that because you're having a bad day or you've had maybe a bad week that you're depressed. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of us do speak this stuff onto ourselves and it's not actually depression.
Yeah.
But if it's going on for a long time, now it starts to be, it's a problem.
How do you identify depression for someone else, an outsider, an external?
So how would you see if someone was
somebody's
depressed? Usually low mood. Sometimes they start to like let themselves go a bit. So they're just becoming a little bit, less
Untidy,
bothered about
messy.
how they look, hoarding things.
Yeah.
Because it's like their environment becomes like what they're feeling inside.
So
they're-
one thing.
So a lot of clutter.
So their environment starts to come like that. Isolation.
Definitely one of them. They don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Do they?
It could be even you could be depressed and you could be comfort eating
Yeah.
and binge eating or not eating
Or not
at all.
eating, yeah.
Yeah. Could have like physiological side effects. So I don't know, like an aching pain, like migraines or some kind of pain in their body.
Rashes as well.
Yeah. So all those types of things.
And the thing is, it's so important that parents see these signs at home, because you could say, like, obviously the government's got a lot of, outsources, and if the parents don't see and support their kids by showing them the signs to get help, these kids are not going to get help. Like, I remember saying to you guys, I didn't want to talk about my son, but I am going to talk about in this instance. So he was the group that missed their GCSEs.
Yeah, my son
So
too.
during
The COVID.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're finding it so
So
hard.
he misses GCSEs because of COVID. So then when obviously they've done their GCSEs, they've just got these grades. He didn't know where he stood. Like, he was completely lost. Like, what am I good at? What am I going to do? And then he went through a period of just low mood, low vibration. He was on the games. And then when he turned 17, I saw the signs of, he was more in his bedroom, not getting up early. Not waking up
depression.
early.
Yeah.
So just on a low mood. Do you know what I said? You know what? Clearly you don't get it, but I get it. So I said, you know what? The best way, I'm going to take time off work. So I took 6 weeks off work. And sometimes you need to do these for your kids. Forget about money. Because at the end of the day, that's your child. And
I love that.
Yeah. I took 6 weeks off. I got a ticket. I said, we're going, me and you are going to go travel. And we went away for 6 weeks. Took him back to Africa, spent time with his grandparents, went all around East Africa, then came back to Dubai. Like, we had a great time, one-on-one time. And when I say he needed that to change
His
perception, what he wanted to do, and straight away after that, he got into his career in a matter of 2 years. So this was 2018. In the matter of 2 years since we did that 6-week break, he's done amazing stuff where he's traveled to so many countries that I can't even name. His career's like up there. Like, as parents, I think that we should also take that time out to give to our kids. Like, we're so busy in the rat race, making money, trying to put everything aside, because what's more important?
Yeah, but
money.
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question. How do you identify? Because we know we're in tune, we're outside.
If you're a present parent,
so we know what's going
Yeah.
on. So we're able to be like, okay, this is unusual. What do I do? And we can think out of the box, which is what you did. A lot of parents don't know. They do not understand. And then I've seen a lot of conflicts going on in the home, and there's no resolution because the child is screaming, you're not hearing me. I'm going through this thing. And then the parent's like, no, you're lazy. You just need to go and get a job.
Yeah.
You just need to do this. You need to choose a career. And then the child is struggling. It's a battle. So that's why I said, how do you identify? And then if you, as the person that's going through it, how do you know you're going through it?
Can I make a suggestion? I'll make a suggestion, right? There's a couple things you could do before you even consider depression. Sometimes it's what you're eating. Gut health has a massive effect on our brain and the way we feel and the way we think. Yeah, that's something to think about. Smoking, drinking, if there's any other things they're doing.
Substance.
Yeah, any substances, vaping, all those types of things.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
You say exercise.
You see, like as Muslims, Mufti Menk says something. He says, you know, I'm sure it was Mufti that said basically like you can consider ruqya, which is where you go to the sheikh, they read Quran over the person because they think they got a jinn in them. But if that doesn't work and it doesn't change it, you still need to go and seek medical advice because a lot of the time people just rely on the spiritual and they don't see there's a medical issue because it could be a medical issue.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah. But obviously, if you see that the low mood and all the symptoms that can be kind of explained, well, stated, if you see that those things are happening or any of those things, and sometimes even other ones, then seek medical help. Like call your GP, look for counselling for your child, CAMS, Mind, and contact someone for support.
Yeah. Yeah, Mind is a good resource.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. And definitely if you don't know, go and speak to the GP and then they'll direct you on where you can go and get help and support. That's if you're going through it or if your child is going through it. So it's really important for you to recognize those signs. Like we said, you know, low mood, don't want to get out of bed at all, shying away from being around people, those identifiables.
I'm really proud that you took those 6 weeks off though. And obviously for the parents who can't afford to do it, because there probably are some people who are going through what you're going through, but literally they can't afford to take 6 weeks off.
Just be there for your child. Speak to them. Communicate. Tell them it's okay, you know?
Sometimes it's just a matter of
hug.
just listening.
Yeah.
And hug, listening. Hug, and they feel alone.
Yeah.
They could have so many people around them, but they feel alone, and you've just got to reassure them, because if you don't, if it goes unnoticed, it turns into something else, you know.
I will tell you as well, as a parent, you can be the best mum you can be, and you can do everything within your power, and then outside those factors that you can't control are there.
Oh, definitely.
Those other kids, the social media, the things that you have no control over. But so don't obviously worry about it to an next. No, I wouldn't say worry because that's not maybe the right way to put it, but obviously those things you're gonna think about that.
Yeah,
you're gonna consider it, but you just got to worry about what's going on within your home and what you can control, because a lot of parents will take it really personal. Like, you know, like my big sister said to me, you know, talk about bullying. Like, how many young people are being bullied?
Oh, girl, if I tell you what I experienced last week with my daughter, and I had to actually involve the police as well. So somebody took her stepdad's number off, I don't know what phone, probably her phone, etc. This is my 13-year-old, bear in mind. A friend, and I told her when the whole incident broke loose, I told her, this is definitely a female friend that's done this. Anyway, she gave the number to a group of boys. These boys actually called her stepdad and were on the and the only reason I'm saying this is so, you know, to raise awareness. These boys phoned her stepdad and they're like, oh, is this Thingy's dad? And he's like, yeah. Oh, we're phoning from this and this school. But clearly he can tell these are little kids, you know, talking. And then obviously when he's like, stop pranking me, whatever, he hung up the phone, they phoned again. If you see these 13-year-olds, the things that were coming out of their mouth, and they were actually saying, you know what, we're gonna, I don't even know if I can say.
Is it essayed?
No, we're gonna rape.
Essayed, yes. Yeah, we're gonna essay
your daughter. And then they were actually, and bear in mind, these are 13-year-olds, reenacting the actual incident on the phone. So my partner was like, madded. My son was going crazy. I said, you know what? Call the police.
Yeah.
I said, call the police. So we called the police. The police took long. This is where I said, you know what? I'm going to take this all the way to court. It's parents. One of the boys calls back and he was like, oh my God, I wasn't involved, whatever. And then we're like, well, it doesn't matter. You're the one who gave the number to this person, etc. And then his mum comes on the line. Instead of her humbling herself and saying, you know what, my son made a mistake, whatever.
Yes.
She was actually siding with her son.
She should get thrown in jail too.
Exactly. Yeah. I said, you know what? For the simple fact that you are not even considering the level of rubbish that was being coming out of your son, especially as a 13-year-old. If you're not putting a stop to this now at 13, what is he going to be capable of doing at 19, 18, 20, etc. when he's a grown-ass adult? The police came and then the police were like, oh, how far are you going to take this? I said, "Do you know what? I would have understood if it was just little kids, but the fact that the mum condoned what her son was doing, I'm taking it all the way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's my 13-year-old, even though they've apologized.
It's impacted.
I said, I don't care.
Let me tell you something, right? I work with women, right? And some of the women I work with are older than me. Like, they could be my parent, right? Some are my age, some are younger. But when you hear, like, especially with people with mental health issues, alcohol and substance misuse issues, and that you find a lot of the women are trapped in a trauma from the past. And it's some random thing or some horrible experience they had when they were 5, when they were 12, when they were 10. So do not discount those little moments in your children's lives, because this could shape them in a worse way, like the trajectory. They could change the trajectory of their life with these incidents. So yes, nip it in the bud and deal with it.
But the funny
and
thing
I'm
is,
proud of you for that.
The police guy, it was so... When I told him the incident and he could see I was horrified, do you know what he said? They're 13. He goes, I've heard 5-year-olds
What?
use those exact same words.
Wow.
It's the social media.
Did you see that ballerina crying because she was teaching little girls and they wanted to dance to Pound Town? It's such a heartbreaking video. She's a beautiful young black ballerina teaching young little girls to do ballet. And the little kids want to hear Sexy Red songs. And then she
Wow.
teaches little infants. It's on. It
Yeah,
went,
well,
it went viral. It went viral on
They
TikTok.
push it on the young. Everything that they want to do in terms of the grand agenda and whatever it is that those powers that be, they force it on little children. And oftentimes, unless you're soliciting their social medias or you're on top of everything that they're seeing, where they're going, you can miss a beat. And then the 5-year-old is speaking such filth. Like, where are they seeing it and where are they hearing it from?
And it was so sad, like, even with the whole incident, when I was telling my daughter, and we're trying to figure out where did the number come from. Obviously, we're women. And because she's so innocent and she's 13, she wouldn't believe that it could actually be your friend. It could actually be your close friend. And she was like, I don't know, no one's got access to my phone, except, like, she was literally vouching. I was like, and then she found out at the end of the day, it was actually your friend.
A best friend, probably.
Yeah, her best friend.
Yeah.
But why is that? What kind of hate and jealousy is that? Why would you do that?
And,
Where
like,
does that
it's one
come
of those,
from?
obviously, even after the whole incident, I had to sit her down and explain to her why the police was called. Are you safe? You know, even though they could be joking, are you going to be okay coming home by yourself? Be wary of females now. Look, this is what your friend did. Like, not all females are nice, you know, just to make sure that her well-being and her mental was good. Alhamdulillah, she was fine.
Yes.
You know, she was like, oh, they're just little boys.
What can we do to protect our mental health? What actions can we
And then
take?
also,
What
I have to
things
even
can
tell
we
her,
do?
because what it is, especially when you've got older brothers. So if you've got daughters and they've got older brothers, you know how older brothers
They're always going to
attack.
want to defend.
So then I had to have that conversation at a very early age where I didn't think she needed to have. I'm like, listen, you have older brothers. There's certain ways that you need to conduct yourself in life because you have older brothers. There's certain things you can do. There's certain things you can't do because your older brothers, because they love you so much,
they'll put themselves at risk.
they'll put themselves at
Yeah.
risk for you. And I'm gonna, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Your brothers will end up in jail, or they'll end up dead because they're there to protect you. That's your older brothers. So please, like, be very cautious when you maneuver yourself through life from now on, because it's gonna get, when you're 16, 18, 19, your first heartbreak, all of that. Just make sure you make the right decisions, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And or learn
really
from the wrong
tough.
ones.
Yeah, or learn from the wrong ones,
that's
yeah.
really a lot.
I was gonna. What you asked, what we could do to protect our mental health.
Yeah.
I would say, I would suggest. Obviously, different things work for different people. Praying, exercising. Exercising is really
big.
good.
It's big. It's really big.
Whether
That's
it's
how
yoga or you like
Yeah.
cardio or you're one of those people that want to lift weights or whatever your thing in exercising is, running, walking. Obviously, some people it's listening to music. I'm a massive meditator, so mine would be meditating, staying grounded, grounding yourself. So walking barefoot in the earth, that helps.
Yeah,
Walk
I've
in the
heard of
grass.
Go
that.
hug
Yeah.
a tree.
Yeah,
Have
go
you
hug
heard
a tree.
tree?
Yeah, hug a tree.
Yeah.
These things really work. Take off your shoes in the grass and walk. And just make
yeah.
sure it's
Feel
clean.
the earth, yeah.
And yeah, connect. Eat healthy. Gut health is massive. Like I said already, massive, has a massive impact on our mental health.
And do you know what? Also protect your energy.
Protect
Especially
your energy.
what you watch.
That
Because I
part.
say to people,
Yep.
I say to people,
You are
like,
what you-
a lot of
you are
people
what
say
you
to me
watch.
when they watch my social media, Hanny, like, you're different from other social media people because you never show us, you know, when you're down, when you're upset, when you're crying. And I'm like, hold up. Why would I want to show you that? Because then you're going to feed off that energy. I'm on social media to be positive, to empower you guys, to, you know, show you all of that good stuff. Yes, I can show you all my sadness, but then that means you're going to feed off my energy
Yeah.
and then you're going to be in a shithole. And I don't want you to feel like that.
It's
So-
funny because people say, it's funny just saying that, and I kind of respect what you just said because I've always waited to hear the right answer from an influencer when they say, well, as an influencer, why are you always showing the best side of things, the happy side of things? Well, if you're on socials, why are you not showing us everything? When you're going through things, why are you not showing us that? And I often, before I would think, it's true, why don't they show the side when they're going through whatever it is they're going through? But with
Yeah,
your,
that's
with
how-
your
with
response,
me, and I always
it's
say
because
to
you
them,
you
yeah.
want to uplift your
Uplift
audience. So
everybody.
why would you
and
show
I do
them
say to
things?
them, like, on my random chats, and I say to them, don't ever think like my life is perfect. Best you believe
Not
I go
rosy all
through
the time.
everything that every single one of you guys is going through.
Yeah.
I just choose not to show you guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you feeding off that energy.
Right.
But whether you're having relationship issues, kids issues, trust me, I said when I'm ready to, and when I've got the time and I'm in the mind frame to tell you everything that I've been through for the past 2 years, while you guys have been seeing me hiki-kikiing, you guys are going to be shocked and you're like, oh my God, she actually went through A, B, and C, but we've never seen it. Hence why I never judge a book by its cover.
It's really good though, and it's good when you deal with things. So when you talk about the hardship when you've gone through it, it's like, I don't know, imagine if someone was going through a storm, like there was literally a storm, and then you had the journalist trying to talk to the person that's getting, you know,
The wind's
blowing
yeah,
around.
yeah.
It's not really practical, is it? If you do that, usually you're gonna get swept up into the wind with that person.
Yeah.
Right. Or you're gonna watch that person going through a horrible situation. Whereas if you just let it settle and everything settle, then you come back and say, okay, let's talk about it now.
Now,
And it's
exactly.
got to be the right time. And I think it's better when you kind of gone over the hurdle. So I do think that would be. That's
So
better
you
for
think it's better to talk when you've gone over the hurdle, or find someone that's trusted that you can talk
No,
to
no,
whilst
no.
you're going
When
through
it's
it?
talk, if you're getting advice and supporting it, go through it with the person. Talk about it while you're going through it.
Find
But I mean,
somebody.
in terms of like putting it out there for people to hear your story, when you're ready to tell your story,
Yeah, it
you've
has
got
to
to
be
be
once
at
you've gone through it.
Yeah.
yeah.
To protect your energy, just to interject, I always say this to people: misery loves company.
Oh,
They
definitely.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
That is how you protect your energy. Stay away from the miserable.
Can
Yes.
I be honest with you as well? In order to be receptive to energy, you also have to be in a clean space. I know, like in a nice, and I mean clean in an energetic way. I'm a massive energy person, right? So a lot of the times when you are in that deep, dark, depressive state, you can't feel the bad people. You can't feel the bad vibes all
Yeah,
the
because
time.
you're in some
'Cause
mad
you're already
space
in
already.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can't see.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you have to vibrate high, regardless of what's going through. You've got to try to push through that and get that light out, and then those energies can't come around.
Oh, they
you.
run, they leave
run.
you. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So you have to be like that, and that you have to be like that. It helps.
Okay, great advice. Some
No,
great
definitely
gems.
vibrate. I'm all about vibrating higher.
Thanks for sharing with us, honey.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I'm proud of you for that though.
Yeah.
Listen, being a mum's hard, guys.
Hardest job in the world.
Breeze, Worcester. I think one of the things that we don't do enough in the UK, and they do it a lot, I always see in American shows, I'm going to see my therapist. And my
Yeah, we need to do that.
therapist.
We need to do it.
And I've realized that a lot of the people that are saying, I'm not saying if you don't see a therapist, you're not saying, but I think as an outlet, because sometimes you can't talk to your friends because you don't want them to throw things back in your face, or even just out of anger. Some people can say things that will hurt because you've shared it with them, or they share it
But
with
they don't
somebody
understand.
else,
They're not
right?
trained.
They're not.
They're not
And
professional.
a lot of people like to give advice. Some people, like I say this all the time, some people, you have a conversation, they only listen to respond. There's a lot of people that do that, that listen to respond. And because of that, they think they're wiser than, and really, my friend, your mouth smells. You have no idea what you're saying. Like, you've got no rights, no qualifications to advise someone like that. So I think it's dangerous sometimes when you're going through things to say, I'm going to talk to my best friends, yes. Oh, my family, yes, but even they are going through things. So
Yeah.
sometimes they're bouncing, they're deflecting, or they say, and then it puts you in a worse box than where you were on your lonesome. So I think one of the things that I will say is, if it's possible, find someone that's a professional. If it's once a month, if it's once a week, someone that's a professional that you can speak to, someone that can guide, someone that you can have a plan together, someone that you can bounce off, somebody that's experienced enough to say, it's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, they might not be able to hug you, professionalism, but some of them actually are warm. Some of them.
No, some therapists are so
yeah.
amazing. When I was going through my third year of uni, I was going through so much things when I was pregnant, and I was doing my dissertation, and I was just, when you're just got
did
so
you do
much.
uni pregnant as well?
I did uni.
Me
I got
too.
pregnant.
It's the worst.
Listen, I was pregnant twice in uni.
Oh God, I was pregnant once, and I would never do it again.
I was pregnant twice. I got pregnant twice during uni, and then in my third year when I was pregnant, I was so upset. I was crying so much. I was so emotional, and I was writing my dissertation, and I remember going to see the counselor. So my friend at uni with me, she was like, look, she came with me to come to the counselling session. She was going to do it. She's like, no. She's like, Shana, I'm not doing this. She said, all these people do is get you crying. When I tell you, I came out there like, the ugly cry.
Yeah.
Like I was crying so much. And then another experience of counselling, had that one at uni was a woman. She was amazing. And you know what she told me? It's so crazy. Obviously it's confidential. I don't have to say it, but I'll just say it for the sake of the conversation. She told me that everything, Shan, you're so smart. You've got such great personality. Like everything's great. The only thing that kind of where you go wrong is men.
Okay.
This is what she told me. It's like,
What,
men are my problem.
Is that based on what your conversation?
Yeah,
She
based
told
on the
us-
things that came out
yeah.
in our thing. She's like,
Yeah.
men is the issue for you, right?
Right.
Anyway,
And you're pregnant at this point.
I was pregnant, yeah.
And men's the
wow.
issue.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting
Bit
somewhere.
late. A bit late to tell me that. So, so anyway, I did therapy again years later. Oh my gosh, same thing. But it's a man this time. He had me crying. I was pulling out the tissues, and I had the snotty cry, the ugly cry, like every kind of cry. And like I said to you earlier, I was talking about things I didn't even know it was bothering me. I swear to God, I didn't even know these things were an issue for me. And the way he just kind of like opened it up and like dissected everything and just made me connect so many dots. Honestly, it was...
Because you have to do it yourself. All he's doing is just
you.
Yeah. It's like that deep dive that you have to go into the Mariana Trench of your soul. You have to go to the deep, dark part of your soul. You have to stay, look at those things you don't want to think about, but you've got to go down there. But honestly, it changed my life for the better.
I know some really religious people, like, you don't need that. You just need to speak to God, or you need to speak to God, whichever religion it is. And a lot of the times, no matter how strong you are in your faith and the fact that you know that there's a being there for you, sometimes you need to hear word back.
Remember, Adam got lonely.
You need to hear word back. So
Adam alayhi salam, when he was created, he was by himself. Remember, he had paradise. He had everything he could ever want. Yeah, he knew the names of everything. He was tall, beautiful, and...
Was he tall, beautiful? He could have been short.
Yeah,
beautiful.
no. In a Quran, in Islamic text,
tall.
we
It
say he's 6.
describes-
He was like 6 meters tall.
Giant.
Giant. Yeah, he was a giant. Like he went on the Day of Judgment. They say when you see Adam, like he's huge compared to all the rest of mankind. Like people are shrinking as time's going on. And even if you see the giants, I think they were in Jordan. Like if you see the bone structure of the giants in Jordan, you'll see that they lived like people were bigger. But anyway, sorry to go into something else. But my point of what I'm saying is that even though he had paradise, he was still lonely. He still was lonely. That's why Eve was created. Hawa was created for that purpose, to be a companion to him. So we do need people. We do. And it does help to talk. And also talking to God, like you can talk to people and still talk to God. You could do it all.
Yeah.
You can pray, you can speak to God in any way you want, in any language you want, because he can hear and understand everybody. Even those who can't speak, he can understand you. He reads the heart, innit? So he already knows.
Yeah.
Right? But on top of that, you speak to someone, obviously a professional, where it's confidential. You can speak to your friends and have a little vent, but speaking to someone really does help. And I heard something, and I'll never forget it. Somebody said, I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza, but he said, prayer is when you ask God for things, and meditation is when you get the answers.
In that silent moment.
Yeah, it's when you get all the downloads and it all starts to make sense. And I meditate a lot, and I'll tell you what happens to me when I meditate. And what I always thought, because I was obsessed with like those Tibetan monks who could meditate and like their mind go blank. I always wanted my mind to go blank. But the more I meditated, my mind never went blank. And I'm thinking, why is I'm still thinking about 100,000 things? That's what you do. You think about so many things, but you can...
The quiet monkey. What do they call it?
You see all these things going on in your life, and it's like you're in the objective view. Now I can see what I need to do. Like, it all makes sense. I can't explain. It's like you're outside of your problems. And the best example I can tell you is, what is that? Sadhu Guru. He's a meditation guru guy on YouTube. He's very popular. But he has a really interesting analogy. I'm just going to tell you this because it's so important. He said you got to look at it like, you know, when you're in traffic jam and the traffic jam is really stressful when you're driving. You lot are drivers, so you know more than me. So you're stuck in traffic and you're annoyed, you're whatever. But when you're in an aeroplane and you see the traffic, it looks beautiful.
It does.
Yeah,
We see all the road white and all the road red.
Yeah, especially in the night.
That's what meditation is. Meditation is taking you to the plane to look at your problems
Down
from that view.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good.
and that's what it does. It takes you from it, and you look at it and you think,
It's beautiful.
this is small.
Yeah, it's
Because you see that traffic jam when you're in it, you think it's
It's
so
so
big. But when you come out and you're in a plane, you're like, these people are small. Look how small you people. You
Yeah.
can't even see a person from a plane.
No.
It looks,
that's a
you know.
good
So
analogy.
that's yeah.
So as an adult, what you've just said, we understand. How do you encourage children and young people to find that space, to find that trust, their spirituality to help guide them?
That's a really good question.
What do
You're
you do
enough.
in the home?
You are enough.
Yeah.
You're enough. You don't need the trainers. You don't need the coat. You don't need the clout. You don't need the friends. You are enough.
It's funny you should say that. I was saying that to my son. He's been feeling a lot of pressures. He's at uni now, first year. And yeah, I know. And he's like, it's a lot, mum. And I'm like, okay, what's a lot? Because all you've got to do, this is what I was saying. This is what I said before this week. All you have to do is just go to your classes, feed yourself, look after yourself, bath, work out. That's what I said.
That is a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. And also, he was like, yeah, but you expect me to get a part-time job so that way I'm not struggling so much with the student finance because it's not enough. And I was like, no, but if you budget your food meals and you prep well, then you don't need to get a part-time job. Just make sure that you're focused on you. And he came back still and he was like, this is a lot. I can't. And I was like, first off, just stop saying I can't. Just say, I will try to do this. I will try and be this. I will try my best. But if it's not enough, it's just not enough. I texted him yesterday saying, it doesn't matter. All of it doesn't matter. The race, it's not a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a race. You've just got to take your time, one foot in front of the other, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's coming home in a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited because all I want to do is just give him a hug.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think.
And that's such a beautiful thing. And also, like, obviously the pressures of the studies and that, and so many successful people. Like, I always say, what is the state? Let me just remember so I can tell you. Okay, a majority of multimillionaires have a degree, but the majority of billionaires don't.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're a young person and you didn't go uni, you got more chance than me to become a billionaire.
Listen,
Yeah.
straight away, like I said, all kids are different. My son said to me, I'm not going uni. I was like, fine, figure it out. But you're not staying in this house for long.
Exactly.
Yeah, the blackness.
Evicted at 18.
But
On
he's
your
still
18th
there,
birthday
babe.
as a
He's
black
still-
kid,
he's
you're
still-
evicted.
he's still
You
there,
get a
babe.
cake and a black bag. Pack your stuff. Put your get a
they're not going
suitcase.
there. Listen, I'm doing what the white people do. The only time you're moving out is when you're moving into your own house. And you
Well,
put
you
your
did say,
mortgage
funny you
down.
say that the white people do. You know, there's some white people that can't wait for their kid to turn 18. They pack them in a black bag and they kick
Yeah.
them out.
Like, my
So
kids
there's
are
two
staying.
types. There's two types of white
Yeah.
people. Isn't it?
I'm
Same as
talking
now,
about the ones that they're staying in my house until they can afford
a house of their own.
house of their
Yeah,
own.
that's what I feel
Save
like. That's
your
what a lot
money.
of us are saying
Yeah,
now. That's
save
what
your
we're
money and then you're moving out.
Yeah. I'm on that
Otherwise,
stance.
you ain't paying rent to somebody else.
No,
Especially I work
it
in
doesn't
real
make
estate.
sense.
You're not making another man rich. You're gonna be up that ladder very soon. Yeah.
Do you guys know that the UK is one of the second or first country in the world that's got the highest rate of depression?
100% believe
Babes,
it.
have you not noticed? Okay, we've all gone on holiday. Yeah. Have you not noticed as the plane lands back
I'm
to
happy.
the UK?
Oh no, I'm depressed straight
You're
away.
depressed straight
No,
away.
is it not depressed? Well, we can't say use depression, just throw it around anyhow. What
No.
is it?
It's like
vibration
it's the,
difference.
vi-
The
it's
vibration
a low
difference.
vibration.
Yeah.
And you see on social media every time the influence out there, the UK is low vibration.
Can I tell you
Everyone's so
something?
negative.
Let me tell you this, right? I believe this, what you said, so much, and I'll tell you where I experienced this.
You know,
I haven't
Julia, do you know
travelled-
what they say about in the UK about London?
No.
The UK when it comes to, I heard it. This is where all the
Say
Don't get in
it. Say
trouble.
it. Say
like
it.
all the jinns and that fly from. the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
let
where
me-
they leave
Right.
from.
I would have thought it was
What's
America.
The gins are,
I would.
what are they called?
What's the
Gins?
The gins. All right. The best way I can explain gin, yeah, and is in the. I was saying this to my best friend the other day. Gin. The best movie that will depict a gin is the Minions film. Watch the beginning of Minions. Minions were created. Gins were created before mankind. This is what we Muslims.
So they're like
believes.
bad spirits.
Yeah, they were.
Okay,
They're
yeah, of
beings
course.
that
This
were
is
created.
where they take off from
In the
human-
UK.
The
Yeah,
UK.
human beings.
Wow.
Human beings were created in Islamic text. Human beings were created from earth. Yeah, from clay.
Yeah.
The jinns were created by smokeless fire. They were created before.
So they're evil spirits.
Yeah. They're not
In
all
a-
evil, but a lot of them are, and they get corrupted. They did really bad things. Watch the beginning of Minions. Just go on YouTube. Watch the beginning of Minions, and that basically is what jinns are.
Hidden stories, hidden messages from what you said, Minion. Because I just watched it. Just
watch
watching
the
it.
beginning
I
of the
actually paid
Minions
much
movie, and
attention to
then
it.
you'll see what I
Yeah,
mean.
so I always
Right.
put it back to
So
bad
let me go.
vibes.
I actually would have thought it would be America, but who knows? But I'll tell you this, right? When me and my bestie, one of my other besties, we went to Egypt a few years ago. It's probably nearly 10 years now. We went to Egypt. Anyway, while we were in Egypt, I was like, we saw that we could go to Palestine. So we went to Palestine. I was like, we're going Israel, we're going Palestine, right? So we went. Let me tell you something. I woke up on the Gaza Strip and I saw the sunrise. And it was rising, but the atmosphere was like a grey tone. I've never seen anything like it. It was one of the most fantastic, beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. I know it sounds crazy because saying grey, but it was beautiful. I don't know how to explain it. I just can't explain it in words. It was unfathomable, and it was just the energy. I can't explain it. When I went to Bethlehem, when I was in Palestine, it is the best place I've ever been. And I tell people
A
this.
lot
I've
of
told
people
people
say
this
that
for
about
years.
Palestine.
I'm telling you, there was no big tall building like Dubai. There was no big roller coaster. There was no flashy cars. But it was the best place I've ever been in my whole life. I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal. When I'm telling you, and I've told people this for years, anyone who knows me knows this. I've said this. Palestine is the best place I've ever been in my life. The energy there is something different. I have never felt this any place, anywhere. It's everything I thought it would be. You know, like when I don't know if you ever used to get those Jehovah's Witness magazines,
Yeah.
with the little hills and the little goats and the the pictures of Jehovah's Witness magazines.
Yeah.
That's
Green.
what it looks
Paradise.
like. It's like a little villagey, like little goat in the hill and the little trees, and it literally was everything I always thought it would be, and it was just the energy of the place. I just felt at peace. I was saying it to my best friend when we were there. Like, I could live here.
What's Palestine's significance in terms of?
That's where Bethlehem is. That's where Jesus lived. Jesus was born there.
Apparently. Okay. Wow.
It's a holy land. It's a holy land.
Okay.
Palestine's a holy land. Saudi Arabia is a holy land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Jerusalem. Being in Jerusalem. Oh, wow. Amazing. Never felt anything like it. Went to the Dead Sea. Listen, I can't. Then the Dead Sea, I was saying this to someone as well the other day. Like, the Dead Sea is the lowest point on earth. The Maldives is the lowest country. The Dead Sea is the lowest point on earth to sea level. But I went there as well.
But they say you get that feeling from all of the holy cities. It's
yeah,
just a natural
it's
thing. The
nothing
spirits and
I've
the
ever felt.
prayers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that why people always do the pilgrim?
Yes,
In Saudi, yeah.
Saudi, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, when you go there, it's completely different
Oh, wow.
feeling.
Different, like
Energy.
It's an energy shift, and it's not.
Shift.
Sorry, it's not like
And there's people that have been there that went there full Christians.
And then,
And then
converted.
they hear the adhan and they just feel the energy, and it's their calling.
and they start crying.
Yeah,
Loads of people.
it's
I
their
cried
calling.
when I first heard the adhan loud. I heard the adhan, which is the call to prayer. People who are not Muslim. I heard the call to prayer in Egypt when I landed. And
Were you Muslim then?
Yeah, I was Muslim,
Okay.
but I've never heard it loud. Obviously,
it's
in a
different.
mosque you hear it loud, but not in public, just going off.
Everywhere, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I burst into tears. I started crying, couldn't stop. And they were like, mashallah, mashallah. The Egyptians were amazing though. They were so lovely. Their hospitality is great. But just the
Interesting.
feeling. So what you're saying is true. And I felt that.
So if you're going through depression, maybe just
Go Palestine. Oh yeah, you can't. All this stuff's going on. But
Go
to
to any
one
of
of
the
the
holy cities.
holy
Yeah.
city, any one
And
of
just
them.
go-
Just kind of experience it.
you know what? You might be.
Go
you
back
might
home.
hike.
It's not even go back home. Go back to your motherland.
No, we're
Go-
talking for those
But
who
no, but say
perhaps
you
don't
can't.
even identify
No,
for Africa
you can go
as
on a
motherland.
hike. You can
No.
you go to the park. What
Go
do you
anywhere.
like? Nature. If you like animals,
That's what I'm saying.
Probably
You
go
come
by
out-
that hill
take
in
your dog
Northport.
for a walk.
What was
Yeah.
it? The Northport Hill.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I know that.
Harrow in the hill.
Yeah.
There's loads of hills and mountains.
That place has stories.
Oh, I don't even want to know what your stories are. Well, what kind of stories up there? This girl's got stories in
I
her
was
little
saying-
corner, innit?
She's got a lot of stories in her bag.
yeah, it's true.
Trust me, between us, our age and our kids and relationships, we have plenty of stories.
Yeah, and I embrace them, all the experiences and all that's to come. You know, really, one thing that I definitely do every day is give thanks. I give thanks for who I am now, and obviously who I was before, because they're life experiences, right? I think I give thanks for who I am now, and I give thanks for who I am becoming and who I'm going to be in the future. And I know that not everything's rosy, not every day is rosy. Some days I don't want to get up. Monday mornings especially, like, please, just, I don't know, I just wish the world would just stop.
Mondays
Is not my day. But I look forward to the Monday. I look forward to it because there's so many people that can't get out of bed. There's so many people that are unable to eat. They're going through things and they can't even tap in. And I'm grateful that I'm able to tap in. I'm grateful for my support system, my friends and family. I'm grateful for this podcast because believe it or not, I actually was having a little spell as well. And I have the podcast to look forward to, along with all the other things I'm doing. But those other things were not an outlet for me to be. You know, and I'm trying to work those things to recreate myself to be me in my full authenticity, like my natural hair. I just don't care. I'm being a boss. I'm just getting my bag. I'm in my bag.
Girl, I love
energy, like
that.
that
Can I
big
tell you
energy.
When you are in your authenticity, that's when you're the most unique. That's where you stand out. And that's the thing I always tell people, like, even with all the horrible hardships and things that we didn't like happening in our lives, it all shapes you for who you are. To make that diamond unique, that crystal unique, that emerald unique. That's how you get that uniqueness, through that hardship. So, yeah, accept it.
Yeah, and when you're your
Be proud.
authentic self, no one can take that away
No
from
one.
you. No one can be you. No one can do what you can do, how you can do it. Trust
right.
and believe.
That's right. And I'm bringing it in and I'm taking it in, and each day is just looking beautiful. So yeah. It's been a really nice conversation, besties. Yeah.
But yeah.
Any last words?
Well, last words. What can we say? Thank you for listening to us, and hopefully we'll catch you
On the next one.